My name is Cuphead. My straw is bent, and I ain't too worried about anything.
Welcome back to The Trends and to a new fun video about one of those animated products that immediately take the world by surprise. Of course, we're talking about Netflix's hit animated series, The Cuphead Show. But before we get into deep details of the series, which we will do in our next video, we'll have to tell you about the video game. Did you know this is based on a video game, and a pretty hard one indeed? So in today's video, we're explaining all the differences between The Cuphead Show and the video game. Let's begin.
Kettle! Don't come back until you learn some self-control.
Let's start with the general dynamics and style of the video game. Cuphead features a platform-style, run-and-gun kind of game that basically consists of, well, running and gunning all kinds of adversaries that appear in the player's way toward the level of final boss, who usually results in a bigger and more difficult fight. The game also incorporates a bit of RPG elements in its transitions between each level. The Netflix show, on the other hand, never touches the run-and-gun premise, even though they have an episode called Run and Gun. We never see Cuphead and Mugman involved in gunfights, but in more general, lighthearted adventures instead. Another thing they changed slightly is the way in which Cuphead loses his soul to the devil. In the original game story, we see that Cuphead and Mugman assist to a casino operated by King Dice and owned by the devil himself. The brothers are having a great time making money in games of craps when the devil appears before them with a sweet offer. He would bet his entire casino against the boys' souls. They obviously lose out of eager and contract this awful debt. In the show, however, Cuphead is playing a game of skee ball, rebranded as Soul Ball, that eventually leads him to the loss of his soul. I guess they don't want to put gambling on a kid's show, right?
Oh, terrific. Looks like we have a real show-off.
If you've been paying attention to the show, then you know that Cuphead is the only one who loses his soul. So Mugman is kind of just gonna go with the flow out of solidarity and accompanying his brother in the adventure. But in this game, we have a different story and also a different reason behind what happened. You see, in the game, it's all about greed. That's what condemns the boys in the first place. In the show, it's only about Cuphead being a show-off kid. As a matter of fact, in the show, Cuphead is the only one who acquires his debt with the devil, while in the game, both brothers are doomed to the hellish fate.
Come on, Cuphead. It's time for a double down. What are you, nuts?
We can totally see that Elder Kettle has a more important role in the show. He serves as a parental figure for the boy, and maybe even infer he's their grandpa, and acts like a caretaker and a moral compass. He has a comedic side to him, and he really hates it when the boys fight. We even learn that he's a military veteran and a retired and decorated war hero. He certainly evolved from this role in the game where he's just some kind of aid figure who gives advice, sets the plot into motion by giving them a magic poison that gives them magic shooting powers. Yeah, we haven't seen anything like that in the show.
I love my little veggies. They're my babies, I would say.
King Dice's original job is being the manager of the Devil's Casino. In the game, he goes against Cuphead because he lost a bet, which is the reason we see him as the penultimate boss just before the devil himself. On the other hand, the show presents him as a game show host who also works collecting souls for the devil, but with a different mythology. He's kind of obsessed with being the devil's number one as he tries really hard to win his favor by capturing Cuphead's soul for him. Again, this is a change we can totally understand as King Dice is a more adult-oriented character in the game. He level puts the players through fights with cigars, alcoholic beverages, dice, and poker chips, all symbols of vicious behavior and addictive personalities.
And then I'll get what's coming to me.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
The general MO of the show is taking some of the game's bosses and turning them into antagonists in the episodes they appear in. They are even just secondary characters on some occasions. We have several examples of this. The three-headed dragon, Grim Mastic, is only a side character that appears as a mother from the baby egg Cuphead and Mugman mistakenly retrieve for pork rind. The root pack is a less powerful version of the one in the game. We don't even see Horse Radish here, the fourth member. The frogs, Ribby and Croaks, are just a couple of entertainers on a boat, but in the show, they are watered-down versions of the characters, no punch projectiles, sorry, who work as managers of a famous boat restaurant.
Oh, buddy!
the show, folks. All part of the show.
We can see this talking well in the game, but his role is tiny and really annoying. He's there only to remind us about how many times we have failed and died, so yeah, he's only a face in a well that's kind of a downer. But the show really totally revamps his character and gives him a more mystical aura. He now serves as some kind of magic mentor figure that helps the guys in their fight against the devil. He's the one who tells him about the magic invisible sweater, the only workaround that can spear Cuphead's soul from the devil's grasp, and he even provides them with the material to make it.
You're wearing an impenetrable invisible sweater! But how?
Mugman made it for me. It works on account of our brotherly love.
The visual results from both products are really similar. After all, the show is inspired by the art style created for the game, but they don't look identical and there's a good reason for it. While the game was created by putting together thousands of hand-drawn art pieces to create everything we can see, this process was impossible to apply in the show. They needed to use a more modern technique that allowed mass production while copying that particular style created for the game. That's why the show uses a combination of 2D effects, classic rubber hose style animation, and 3D CGI graphics. They even include hand-drawn light effects, real elements and textures, and live-action backgrounds a la Gumball.
They're killing the Kettle's babies! We gotta bust this party up right now!
This is what the gamers miss the most about this adaptation for sure, as the gun and run appeals consists in gunning and running. This element is really missed from the show. We don't see the magic potion that give the brothers their snap gun. That shoots magic energy bullets from his fingers. But with more seasons and episodes yet to come, we still have hope we'll get to see those finger guns in action sooner or later in the game transitions from less antics to more fighting. We're sure this is totally doable at this point without compromising the identity they have already created for the show.
You're right. It is your fault.
The conflict regarding Cuphead's soul gets resolved in very different ways. The game creates this whole situation so the gun and run style of the game can be exploited to its ultimate lengths. The boys reach an agreement with the devil to become his bounty hunters. They're gonna chase and gun down some rebels who also owe the devil their souls and refuse to pay. The violent push leads them to fight the devil himself in the end. But in the show, we don't see any of that. There's only a couple skirmishes with the devil in which they are saved by the magical sweater, and in the end, the devil loses his right to Cuphead's soul due to a technicality. So they have to be very creative if they really want to extend the show for 2 more seasons. Yeah, they've already confirmed. Did you know there's so many differences between the Cuphead show and the Cuphead video game? If you haven't played it yet, we totally recommend it. One thing's for sure is you'll need to make use of all of your platform gaming expertise because this is not an easy game. Just check some reviews and gameplays if you want to learn more about it. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Check the rest of our channel for more content about the Cuphead show and all your favorite animated movies and series. And of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn your notifications on by hitting that little bell if you want to keep receiving awesome stuff like this. Bye.
Hey, who are you? The name is Venom.